Okay, Happy everyone, welcome to the Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled meeting this day, October 21st, 2025. It is actually 12:50. We're a little bit late on starting the meeting. My apologies to everybody. We're here at GHURA's main office, and we will proceed with roll call. All right. Okay, Commissioner Torres?
Here.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair Sanchez? Thank you very much. I know Commissioner Dia is out. Commissioner Rice is also out. Commissioner Corpus?
Present.
Okay, and myself, we have a quorum. Thank you very much. We will proceed with item number 2, board meeting public announcements. The first printing is on Tuesday, October 14th, which is located in your packet. That checks out. Then the second printing is on Sunday.
Very technical issue.
Oh,
We're not recording yet.
oh, okay,
Everything he said wasn't recorded?
okay,
So it started over.
okay.
In,
Tell me when.
Okay, are we ready?
Ready?
I'm gonna start.
Happy everyone. I'm sorry about that. We had some technical issues. Let's try this again. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled meeting this October 21st, 2025 in the main office of GHURA here in Senania on the first floor. It is now 12:51 p.m. and we'll begin this meeting with roll call. Okay. Vice Chair Sanchez.
Present.
Thank you very much. I know Commissioner Delia is out. She won't be able to join us today. Commissioner Rice is also out, will not be able to join us today. Commissioner Torres.
Here.
All right, and Commissioner Corpus.
Present.
All right, thank you very much. We have a quorum. Let's move on to item number 2, board meeting public announcements, which is located in your packets. First printing is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. And second printing is Sunday, October 19th, 2025. Okay, everything checks out. We'll move on to the approval of previous board minutes from September 30th, 2025 is also located in your packets. Yeah, one.
Page 4, this is a typo. Third bullet up from the bottom, GHURA, and then it says the sliver of property should be F,
I'm sorry, you said third from the bottom
right? Third
on
bullet,
page 4.
Page 4.
or it's right, it's Ernest. That one, Mr. Commissioner.
It says GHURA, tried and earned, yeah, it's so down. The sliver of property should be on.
Or not,
Oh,
not
okay.
or.
Mine.
Okay. Okay,
Good catch.
That's it. That's it.
if there's nothing else, we call for a motion to approve subject to which, subject to correction.
And then I moved to, for the previous board minutes of September 30th, 2025, with subject to corrections, page 4.
Okay, so noted, you may have a second. Thank you, Commissioner Corporate, for the second. Any further discussion? No, hearing and seeing none. May I call for the vote. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much. Motion passes unanimously to approve the minutes of September 30th. Now moving on to new business, right? We're on resolution number FY 2026-001.
Resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On resolution, if I may read,
Sure.
resolution number FY 2026-001. Resolution approving the write-off of tenant accounts receivable as of September 30th, 2025. Whereas the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, GHURA, is the Guam Public Housing Authority that provides decent homes and suitable living conditions for families of low income to afford to pay for safe, sanitary, and decent dwelling accommodations. And whereas the governance and well-being of GHURA is vested in the Board of Commissioners, BoC, and empowered by 12 Guam Code Annotated Chapter 5, Section 5104, and whereas Board of Commissioners Resolution number FY 2018-002, resolution adopting the write-off policy for unallocated accounts for GHURA rental properties. And whereas in the normal course of business, the authority is involved in transactions that result in monies being owed to GHURA for which they are unable to collect and as necessary. Whereas the property site managers and Section 8 administrator submit summaries of debts considered for write-off to prevent overstating of assets, which are affecting the authority's financial performance. And whereas currently GHURA's receivables include outstanding accounts, which have remained in GHURA's books for over 90 days as of September 30th, 2025, as indicated below. Reflected as property site AMP1 with a write-off amount of $39,583.52. Property site AMP2 with a write-off amount of $1,155. Property site AMP3 with a write-off amount of $5,591.15. Property site AMP4 with a write-off amount of $64,502.69 for a total of $110,832.36. Whereas GHURA through the property site managers and Section 8 administrators exert diligent collection efforts in pursuit of outstanding receivables. And although ongoing collection efforts are abandoned on these accounts, GHURA reserves the right and duty to collect should the opportunity arise. And whereas it is in accordance with GHURA's procedure and good business practice to write off accounts receivables after all reasonable collection procedures have been exhausted, and there is not a reasonable expectation that the accounts will be collected. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners approves writing off $110,832.36 of GHURA receivables after all reasonable collection procedures have been exhausted, and there is not a reasonable expectation that the accounts will be collected. And we have Ms. Fran on the line and the property site managers on standby if you have any particular questions regarding the write-off. Also included in your packet are all the supporting documents for all the different ants demonstrating the various amounts and in terms of the category by app.
Thank you very much, for that. This is pretty standard, the numbers don't jump out. In my book, as anything that is, off. I guess my only question to any one of the app managers is that, are you seeing any trending on your part, or is there anything that, that's of note, from your different apps about these collections?
Chief,
Sir, I could probably answer that question in that writing off these accounts receivables has been and where we collect them through the Department of Revenue and Taxation has been really fruitful. So far, just out of the top of my head, from the ones that I've seen that we've processed and actually like applied it to the tenants' accounts has been over $100,000.
Ms. Brand, if I may add,
No, absolutely.
how has there been, what's the success rate in regards to the garnishment for some of these individuals? And have you noticed a positive? working-
The success rate, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The success rate has been really good. The write-offs that we have done just for this fiscal year or this past fiscal year, that's where majority of the collection has come from. I know this is probably not good news, but we even got a tenant that was like long time ago, and that was one of those Section 8 tenants. I mean, it was a small amount, but at least I know that even for very old accounts receivables can still be collected. And for me, I was like, hey, you know what? That's really it's really working for something that's been out there. And so this person's been out there collecting refunds, and we could have gotten them long time ago if we had written it off.
Okay.
I have one question, one thing jumped out at me at the table. And I have one like at the top, the cleaning charges. Who pays that? That's picked up by GHURA. It's like.
Sorry, sir, I can't really hear you.
One thing that jumped out at me in app one, that first line across, it was only 101 or something, dollars, but the cleaning charges are like $10,000. So who picks up the cleaning charges? That's GHURA, I'm assuming, right?
Oh,
Good
that one I
afternoon.
would have to ask the app managers to respond.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Narcisa Ada for AMP1. Yeah, so that's part of the amount that we're trying to write off. And in regards to the chairman's question earlier regarding trends, I think for me, especially with the amount here that we have, I'm finding a lot of tenants who have vacated more cleaning charges. So I think moving forward, we probably need to do a better job with educating our residents prior to moving in about the unit and maintaining it. One of the ways that we do that is through the inspections, the required inspections, and even communication among the staff. So if, say, for example, they're doing an inspection at a unit and find housekeeping is an issue, I could meet with the residents, or staff could do a follow-up inspection. But if you see, we kind of have quite a few charges for a few of our units regarding cleaning charges.
Is this, so when you're saying cleaning charges, is this because the unit was damaged, or it's just, the cleanliness of it requires heavy sanitation, or? Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It includes both.
It includes both, so
So
this could
all
also.
the charge, yes, damages,
And you're trying to get the unit back up to a state that's acceptable for the new tenant.
correct,
Got it.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah, just wanted to.
In some rare instances, it does involve specialized cleanup if a resident passes, like particularly when they're elderly.
Hmm.
So that's sometimes a specialty cleanup that we need to do, and
Right.
obviously we can't really collect on that.
okay. Okay,
So it's case by case.
Yeah,
okay,
it varies.
okay. Any more questions, Commissioner?
I had one question.
Sure.
About the monies collected from revenue tax, where does that go?
It returned, Ms. Fran, when they do collect, it's returned to the program in which it's owed, right? If it's done through rev and tax, if they do the tax refund garnishment.
Yes, it is. It's returned to the program that the write-off was at.
So return to source.
Return to source, and then it comes in as revenue, right, since we did the write-off?
Yes, that is correct.
It's counted as revenue on a balance sheet.
Yeah. Particularly like program income, it has to go back to the program in which it was owed to.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, Commissioners, making a motion on the floor.
Make the motion to approve the resolution approving the write-off of tenant accounts receivables as of September 30, 2025. In the amounts of for property side Act 1, 39,583.52. And 2, $1,155. And 3, 5,591 and 15 cents. And 4, 64,502 and 69 cents, for a total of 110,832 and 36 cents.
Thank you, Commissioner Torres, for the motion. Making a second.
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair, for the second. Any further discussion? No, hearing seeing none, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much. Resolution number FY 2026-001 passes unanimously. Thank you, Commissioners. Moving on to old business now, item number 5. Number 1, approval of LIHTC 2025 Qualified Allocation Plan QAP, which is located in your packets. Didi, did you want to give us a briefing on this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I'd first defer to Kathy to talk about what had happened since the board approved the proposed draft that went out. So to discuss public comments, any proposed changes based on what the board is voting on today. But as you're aware, everything, all the comments have been shared.
Okay.
To include any complaints or issues or differing of opinion on the matter has been shared with the board prior to the meeting. But I'll defer to Kathy first before we continue forward.
Thank you, thank you, Didi. Ms. Kathy, floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Since the board's approval to initiate the public comment period by approving the proposed draft 2025 QAP, we held a public comment period open. It was originally proposed for October 1 through October 13. In that timeline, we had one public comment meeting on October 6th, which was attended by a handful, more than a handful of representatives from different parties. As a result of the board meeting being pushed back from the 14th to today, I suggested we determined to go ahead and allow for a slightly longer public comment period to ensure as much engagement as we could. We pushed it through from the 13th to the 16th. We received 6 distinct responses By that I mean, from 6 submissions, some of them from the same or similar organizations, but 6 times we received. 3 of them were received before the 13th, and the last 3 were received in the last hour of the 16th. So there were quite a few comments to get through. So for what you have before you today is the proposed final QAP, with some changes made, and I can go through what those changes are. There were quite a few comments made. There were quite a few recommendations for improvements, but my focus was frankly to ensure that whatever we were covering was necessary, because there's always going to be room for consideration and improvements in our QAPs, and I'm happy enough to entertain those as time permits. Now, the QAP though that you have in front of you today, I'm just going to go through it's materially the same, but I want to go through what the changes were. First off, page 1, which is your cover, there's no date on it until you folks determine that it's an approved document, in which case I'll put in the approval date by the board that's centered to the page. Okay. On page 7, was the timetable for the rest of the period, which changed the dates of the public comment timeline, and obviously had to shift dates through. They had a domino effect through the process. What I wanted though was, with this abbreviated process, to maintain at least the 1 month for applications to go out to for response, and so that's been maintained. What we shifted then was the evaluation period has been shortened. You'll also note that the date of December 9 would be the final recommendation to the GHURA board. I put in there, and you guys can certainly tell me not to, but I didn't, in our experience, to give you folks just 1 day to look through it and hear us, I built in a 2 days later for an award decision. How that plays as far as board meetings are concerned is something that I've spoke about with council just a bit, because if it had to be 2 meetings or a special meeting, I don't know, but I didn't want to be held to just 1 date, and then certainly don't want to force the board to have to come to a decision on something without giving ample time for you folks to sit and ruminate over it. The final board decision though would be in the same week. That 9th is a Tuesday, the 11th, 2 days later is a Thursday. And then all documentation for this QAP for carryover allocations would have to be executed by December 31, 2025. So that's the change on page 7. On page 9, we included in the section for section J at the bottom of page 9 is a disqualification, and that was a statement of where we included at the end of the sentence that a disqualification would be based on substantive evidence connecting a principal to not being in good standing with any affordable housing rental program administered. It used to say by the allocating agency and the government of Guam. We took out government of Guam because we have our as the allocating agency, that's our area of control and responsibility. So we stopped that sentence there and took out government of Guam. There is no method for us to check out the rest of the government of Guam for their, so we held it to just what we can justify and demonstrate under the agency.
I'm sorry, just for clarification. So this language of the disqualification, item J, that is, you're saying that this is standard language that has been in there?
As we put it in there, we had we proposed it with the words "and the government of Guam."
And then you changed.
We took it out to be just our agency.
Okay. So this is not an addition, this is just an edit.
Correct.
Got it.
Just an edit.
Got it.
And the last edit is actually way at the back on page 42. This is in the section of the appeal. The appeal process. 42.
42.
Yes, so 42 they have in front of you is the appendix 3. It's the proposed, it's the appeal process. Unlike other QAPs, we did not put the appeal process in. We crafted this appeal process and it's here. And it's here for any applicant to see. The changes that we made here were actually in areas numbers 9 and 10. 9 and 10 on page, I said 42, but actually I think it's 41.
It starts on 40.
Yeah. So the changes are to 9 and 10. The changes were made to change words that had a legal process or a legal connotation to them, because this is not a court proceeding. It's actually this is not a legal proceeding with this appeal process. So I wanted to clarify and take out language, use language that was not of a legal nature. And what was written in number 9 said originally that we used the words burden of proof. And so now it says responsibility rests with the applicant to answer to number 9, because that had that was legal jargon. And if this is not a legal proceeding, I didn't want that to be missed. Number 10, it originally, the wording there, the wording that you see there is sound and justifiable reasoning. What was there was reasonable and rational basis, reasonable or rational basis, excuse me. But those two have legal definitions. So we wanted to make sure that we were in line with what it was and what it was not.
Okay.
However, that is all that was changed as far as this document is concerned. There was we received many comments. Frankly, many of them recommended changes that were worth looking at, and time permitting, we would certainly love to be able to go through them and see how they might fit. But nothing seemed to rise to the point of a necessity to change it. As in, nothing was inconsistent with what we have. This is effectively the format and the form and verbiage that we have used over many years. It's time to go back and look at it again, as anything should. But at this point, these are what we gleaned out of the public comment and our own catch after going back and reading it again.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, sir.
And if I may, Commissioners, Mr. Chair, as you know, as we've notified the board and shared all of the documents and finding, there was a court hearing this morning that began at 10 a.m. at the district court, where one of a potential applicant and one of the commentators on the QAP made a motion to try to place a temporary restraining order and prevent the board from moving forward with the QAP. So with that, I'd like to notify you, they were not successful in that attempt. And when explicitly asked to the judge in notifying us of her inclination not to rule, when asked, is GHURA able to move forward with the QAP? She said we may proceed. We may proceed with our business, specifically for the QAP. So it was explicitly asked, to be sure. I think we're waiting on final judgment. If you have any questions, Alicio was there too, representing the agency and the board on this matter. But that we're clear to move forward on this, on the QAP and BoC.
And just to clarify, the judge went ahead and is going to be issuing an order or decision in a couple of hours. She is leaning towards denying the plaintiff's TRO and preliminary injunction, but we don't have that in writing yet. Because we don't have an order stopping us from conducting our business today, we can move forward, Mr. Chairman.
And she's explicitly says we may proceed.
Yes,
She was
correct.
explicitly asked that question explicitly. So
The board meeting can proceed, because again, there's no order.
the business,
stopping.
the QAP can proceed. We don't need to wait for the order.
So we don't need that.
Yeah,
right?
we can move on.
Yeah, I'd like to mention, I think one of the things that they kept alluding to was whether or not the board can award, pre-award, credits. And so I think it's important to make the distinction that what the board action is today is approving the QAP. Now with the intent that a reservation be made for an existing project, right, that's underway, based on the board's decision of the vote in favor of the project last year. Now, the actual reservation, there's a process that needs to go to. So if you refer to the QAP, while it does, transparently explain the situation and, publicly let it be known that a portion will be set aside for, Flores Rosa, it is, pursuant and subject and has to be in accordance with applicable program requirements and guidelines. So just because we do this doesn't mean that it's automatic that they get it today. There's still a process that they would need to go through. And, with what happened last year, it is that process that can still be the make or break, right? So we still have to go through that process and exercise our due diligence. The need for the board to act, at least with urgency today is because, as you can see in the timeline there, we're not trying to make, admittedly make the same mistake we made last year where we did not provide enough time to the program folks to re-review before issuing the documents that make the award complete. We're not gonna make that same mistake again. We want to make sure we have ample time to check, double check, triple check everything before we finalize any awards. So subject to your questions, I leave it to you.
Thank you, DB.
Chairman, may I address the board?
Ms. Tang is scheduled for the general discussion, sir, so I'll leave it up to Mr. Chairman, if you're gonna go ahead and have her wait until that session comes up.
Okay, Ms. Tang, you are scheduled for general discussions. I will entertain you speaking at that time.
I think that the legal analysis is incorrect, but I think that if you make that decision and you defer the issue that we are presenting has to do with
Ms. Tang,
what you're deciding right now.
You will be able to speak during the allotted time that you're scheduled for. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, I have a. So Alicia, you've looked at the QAP.
Yes, I've reviewed it with the chief planner.
Okay,
Myself as well.
Right, the three of us looked at it, and for legal counsel purposes, it was appropriate.
Commissioners, any other questions?
Yes. Thank you to our chief planner, DD, and we still for putting this together and making sure all the T's were crossed and I's were dotted. At this point, we don't have any other questions or concerns.
I think just, not more of a question, more of just putting it out there, right? If we were to summarize what this QAP means to the community by way of what we're approving, can you give that context?
Yeah, so the breakdown and I think GHURA's position has been the board approved last year. It wasn't necessarily the QAP. The QAP, this is the QAP, the 2024. There are different board actions. The board had approved a project based on the merits of the project, and that's what we were proposing to honor. Moreover, in the broader requirements of GHURA to meet our mandates, we know there's a housing crisis. So we also have a responsibility to the public benefit and to consider the public interest. In the good faith of the Flores Rosa developer, they were moving forward until we discovered that there was an issue with there and we had to pull back. But the project, I think, is still on timeline to be completed within a year, right? So for us, in the consideration of the public good, is there's going to be affordable housing units put online sooner. I think that definitely warranted consideration under the LIHTC statute for kind of an exceptional policy. But again, this is kind of limited in this particular circumstance, right? You know, we don't plan to do this every year, not at all. We do appreciate kind of fair and open competition, but we also have to honor what's been done to meet the ultimate goal of providing housing. If, you know, there may be consideration again, because we know there's more than 5 million available in the 25 QAP, which is substantially more than what's being reserved, right? More than 75% is available for applicants to put in for. So when weighing all of that, our end goal is to ensure that affordable housing is complete. And truth be told, nobody gets the tax credit unless it's actually built. So we could do the reservations all day long. It doesn't matter until it's open for service, right? So there are no guarantees. We could very much pull it back if it's not. Moreover, if they're an active owner and manager of a property and they're non-compliant for one reason or another, it could be by way of the conditions of the unit, perhaps a failed inspection. There could be an 8823 filed and GHURA could have the credits removed. So nothing is necessarily guaranteed, right? Ultimately, we just want to hit our end goal of getting more affordable housing units out there. That's our ultimate mission. So we are proceeding forward in consideration of the public benefit.
And you were talking about putting in the timeline into the QAP timetable, which takes us up to December 31st, 2025. What is the implications of us not meeting that timeline?
We lose out on the 3 million for FY 24 allocation. And that accounts to roughly 33 million, because you multiply that by the 10 years that the credit is applied for. So it'll be about a $33 million loss to the territory.
Noted. Okay, commissioners, do you have any other questions? Okay. Okay, if not, may I get a motion on the floor?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the LIHTC 2025 qualified allocation plan.
I have a motion on the floor. May I get a second? I have a second from Commissioner Torres. Any further discussion from the commissioners? No? Hearing and seeing none, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much, commissioners. The motion passes. For the 2025 low-income housing tax credit qualified application plan, as placed in your packets with and then you mentioned that the date will be replaced. Okay. Thank you very much, commissioners. Moving on to item number 2, the summary of the executive director board evaluations CY 2025. If I may make the recommendation, commissioners, that we push this off to the next meetings. Seeing as the time. Okay.
Yeah. We'll take orders.
Okay.
Yeah.
No objections?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 6, executive director's report. Acting executive director, do you have any project updates?
I'd like to defer the executive director's report and also defer any trip reports too for this board meeting and reserve that for the next meeting.
So noted. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7, general discussion and announcements. We have Summer Vista 2 LLC and Summer Vista 3 DE LLC, collectively Summer Vista, discussion of proposed LIHTC credits. Okay, so this is where we have the discussion. Attorney Tang, right?
Thank you. So may I?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you very much. Board of Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to present. Let me put my video on. Thank you for the opportunity to present. I think that it's got to be clear what the law requires. 42M sets forth the QAP requirements. It's very straightforward. You don't have to believe me. You can go online and Google it. Okay, the first is that it says no housing credit dollar. The housing credit dollar amount with respect to any building shall be zero. That means you can't give any tax credit unless that amount, that award is made pursuant to a qualified allocation plan of the Housing Credit Agency, which is approved by the governmental unit. And that, I submit, means that you have to have an approved QAP before you can give any party any tax credits, reservation, however you want to call it. But what you're doing is not done and it's not compliant. This isn't rocket science. This is plain law. It also says it has to be approved by governmental unit. Governmental units defined as under 147 F2. That is the highest, the elected official. I submit you are not elected officials. I think you were appointed, correct? So that would be the governor. And if you look up, for example, the different, you can Google this. You don't need an opinion on this. If you Google the different QAPs, for instance, that's online, you will see that the governor, for instance, of Connecticut in 2026 approved it because the code requires it. Again, I'm not telling you anything legal, anything special. This is all available online. The mayor of New York City approved the QAP. And so on and so forth. And like I said, you can do that yourself. Section 9 credits, which is if you go to section 2 of your Roman numeral 2 of your proposed QAP, I don't have a copy of the revised version because it wasn't put online. I assume it's in the same place. It's a section 9 allocation credit. I'm sorry, it's a 9% allocation. I'm sorry, a 9% credit. And again, these are reserved for new construction rehabilitation project. If you look up this online, you'll see an introduction to the low-income house tax credit prepared by the Congressional Research Services, dated July 11, 2025. It says the 9% credit is also commonly referred to as the quote-unquote competitive credit because awards of 9% credits are drawn from the state's annual LIHTC allocation and developers must compete for an award. Compete means you have to at least submit an application. And you know that Flores Rosa did not submit an application for 2025 QAP because the QAP for 2025 has not been approved. You know that the 2024 QAP is done. There's nothing there. GHURA signed a stipulation. Your counsel who's sitting in front of you signed a stipulation saying that was void. So there is no competition, no application for this 9% credit. This is in the Congressional Research Services report to Congress. I'm not trying to, this is, not about who gets what. We all want low-income housing. I see Guam has a huge need for it, but you as commissioners must uphold the law individually. And I'm not trying to convince you of what the law says. You can just Google it. It's not that difficult. You've sat on this board for quite a while. Have you ever seen such an award where the award and the reservations baked into the QAP before an application's even made with no competition? And if the answer is no, and seriously, I tried looking for a QAP online that in other states, and I searched very hard for something that would allow this. Because if it did, then you know what? Then that's the way it goes. I could not find a single one. What you are doing, commissioners, is quite extraordinary. You must uphold the law. This is not about who wins, who loses. This is about just doing the right thing. And this is not about, Cortec or anyone getting more or less. This is about upholding the integrity because that's how you're going to get more housing, not the few that you're going to get out of this project. Down the road, what kind of confidence do other potential applicants will have if you don't uphold the law? You are the last line of defense. And I'm not trying to, I'm not giving you a legal opinion. All of this is available online. I asked that you reconsider. I asked that you take out that provision to Flores Rosa, let them compete. You will not lose a penny. We can still stay on schedule. That is what the right thing and what the lawful thing to do is. Thank you. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Attorney Tang, for your notes on this board meeting. While you're not giving us legal advice, I will take your comments into consideration, but I will also seek our legal counsel on the things that you have mentioned. So thank you very much.
Will you reconsider the decision, subject to a written opinion on this issue?
I will take everything that you said into consideration with our legal counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We also have some other folks in the room, and out of fairness.
Good afternoon. My name is Mars Johnson. I'm the attorney for Flores Rosa Gardens LLC. I don't have much to say in terms of comments, though. It's been a long day for a lot of us already. But I think we've made our position clear in the comments that we provided to the board, and the board is free to look at those comments as well. But we believe that the commission's that the board of commissioners' actions are well within the bounds of the law and what they're allowed to do under 26 U.S.C. 42. If you don't have any questions, I don't really have much more comment tonight.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate everybody's discussion. This is not easy, right? And obviously, I think everybody in the room and those out there who will benefit from the work that we do will agree, as you have stated, Attorney Tang, that this is so needed, right? We are not attorneys, and we do the best we can. And as we proceed, right, we do so in good intent, with good faith, and with also good counsel, right? I think part of this is also the ability for us to be able to share discussion, and then also at the end of the day, as you mentioned, do what's right, and do what's right, especially for our community. So in saying that, right, I want to thank everybody. It has been a long day, I'm sure, for some of you more than others. Thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you for continuing to keep everything in motion. And at the end of the day, hopefully on December 31st, we arrive at this place where our people are better off for it, because we have more than losing less, right? All of this is an opportunity for us to always do better. I'm not saying that we are perfect either, but I am saying that as we proceed on, we do so, right, with the best intent, and always doing what we can to do the best that we can. with what
Thank
we
you.
have.
Chairman, I do have a question. I'm actually representing Cortec.
Sure.
Thank
You're
I appreciate that. QAP is similar to invitation to bid or RAP. So the government entity open a door so the private citizen or entity can submit a proposal. So when there is a proposal or offer, the government can accept that offer. So basically an offer and acceptance. But as attorney Joyce Tang mentioned, when there is no RAP or QAP or invitation to bid, nobody can submit a proposal. In other words, there is no offer. However, what is actually happening now is the GHURA is accepting the offer that is not even submitted because there is no proposal. I mean, the RAP, invitation to bid or QAP, doesn't exist at this moment. So it's not competitive. And in fact, there's no platform for the offers. I truly want to compete and fair and square, but we didn't even have a chance. But somebody's going to get an allocation or reservation, which is actually same as a formal award. I am trying to understand the process. I've been involved in the LIHTC for the last 20 years and more. But it's the first time. Please help me understand.
Edie, would
Oh,
you?
yeah,
Would you like
absolutely.
to respond to that?
Yeah, we maintain this is not a procurement under the statute. When she said she's not providing us legal opinion, but our position has been consistently, not just with this leadership, but even past, it's not a procurement under the law. GHURA does not own anything. The government does not receive anything. There is no property, there is no service, there are no goods transmitted. This is purely the administrative responsibility of GHURA to administer. The benefit is all to the developer, right? And the owner. And that's the consideration and the difference we want to make. There is no benefit to us, right? In terms of what we get. We do value competition very much, but we have to consider the totality. But if we were, let's say, to go down the procurement line, under procurement, there's many opportunities where competition isn't warranted, either sole source or unsolicited proposal. All those are allowed in the current statute. But again, this is not a procurement. I would not, it's not that GHURA doesn't appreciate competition. We issue many other programs and we truly promote competition. But in this one, we have to we're considering the greater public benefit, right? Lawsuit from here, lawsuit from there, either way, it doesn't matter who it's coming from. But if they're going to keep attacking the agency and our capacity to administer our legally mandated programs, remember we're not even legally mandated to administer this, right? And we also have to consider having to shut it down. And that's a very real possibility. Shutting it down, rebuilding it from the ground up so it's perfect, so it's judgment proof. And that's very much a consideration we're at this point. The expedited 2025 is an effort to try to satisfy all needs. And it's not the best situation, but it's the best course of action based on the situation we're in, is a means to try to salvage the tax credits for the community, right? But we are very much prepared to do what's in the best interest of the agency to protect all of our other programs that we're legally mandated to do, in order to rebuild this program from the ground up. And in that instance, no developer gets the tax credit. Furthermore, we're well within our right to not issue any tax credits to anybody and issue it to ourselves as a public housing agency to develop on our own, where we do own it. That's also a possibility. So again, this is our good faith effort to try to satisfy everybody, maybe it's not perfect, maybe everybody doesn't get what we want, but you know, the accusations presented today that the board is corrupt, that GHURA is corrupt, that we're scheming and doing all things, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, our bottom line is the community. That's our main goal, and everything is worked backwards from there, right? And that's what we want to proceed forth with. So again, we looked at it, we took the comments in. We do believe there's still the ability to improve this in the future. The comments provided by Summer Vista, comments provided by Flora Rosa were all very good, and they will more than likely make it into the 2026 QEP. We do value that. But once we just need to get over this hurdle, right? Because GHURA is not the one who's going to lose if the tax credits aren't out before the end. And so that's kind of where we're at on all this. We appreciate it. You know, I don't think there's any intention for hostilities, but again, we're really pursuing the public interest in this matter and trying to get the units out as quickly as possible.
So you truly believe you can issue an award or reservation of a credit without QAP process?
No, it says there is a QAP, so the board just approved the QAP. The actual awarding of credits is a separate process, right? It's any awarding of credits is subject to all of the other requirements being met. So it's an assumption. So what's happening is our being transparent in public comment, being transparent in the QAP is being construed as an action like not befitting the organization, right? Or that we're misleading the board in terms of the language of the law, even though chief planner, myself, legal counsel, and the executive director.
So let me ask you, then why do you select ProRes project, not any other projects or combined projects or multiple projects? Since you think that you have a right to do so.
So I think I've sufficiently answered the question that you wanted. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
what we've made. No.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Ms. Sang.
All right, I would just like to show one document to the group. Please let me share on your screen.
You know, Attorney Tang, I believe that if we keep this up, we're probably going to go back and forth.
I understand. I respectfully request this because I think it's very important.
You have been given the opportunity to speak. I've let Flores Rosa speak. I've let our folks speak. I think at this point, we're not here to debate anymore. This was a discussion. You have had the floor. I think at this point, if there's anything further, please, I urge you to take the channels and send it to our legal counsel. Of course, anything that you send will be reviewed, and then we will work on it.
Mr. Chairman, this only takes 1 minute. 1 minute.
We don't allow screen share. This is the public meeting. It's a security issue. You can send it, and if Mr. Chair, if you can confirm, everything set by any party, we distribute to the board and the board sees it. So we don't gatekeep. So you're free to send whatever documents you would like them to review. There is a channel. It has worked. Everything you set prior to the board meeting, the board has had an opportunity to review. So it was, you know, I don't know if there's any more consideration to be made.
We're happy to take a look at any documents you have. Attorney Tang, please send it to our legal counsel. All right, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Any other discussion from the executive leadership or any of the commissioners?
Nothing from executive management.
Okay. Lisho?
Nothing from legal, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. The next proposed scheduled board meeting is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 at 12 p.m. Please mark your calendars, and of course, we will confirm.
You just said October 14th.
I'm sorry, wrong one. November 4th. Sorry. Next proposed scheduled board meeting is Tuesday, November 4th at 12 p.m. please mark your calendars, and of course, we will confirm that with all of the commissioners. At the end of the day, thank you very much. In some areas, it is Christmas time with the Burr months. Merry Christmas to everybody, or happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. I think that there's always room to celebrate, and there's always room to look at the good things that everybody's doing. Thank you for all the passion, and thank you for all the commitment. May I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, may I get a second?
Second.
I got a second by the vice chair. Any opposed? Hearing seeing none, this meeting is called at 1:50 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.